Бой начинается.
How's it going, everybody? PigBay here, PB for short, and today we have the Mech. But now seriously, here's the Mecklenburg. Now what you're getting is a German battleship. It's a tier 10 premium, but it's not like a regular battleship. It's armed with 305s, but you have 16 of them. Now the two ships I'm going to compare it to are the GK and the Schlieffen. In terms of tankiness, it kind of sits in the middle of those two. Not as good as the GK, but definitely better than the Schlieffen in that category. As I mentioned earlier, her main battery, you have 305s, only 305s. They do about 1.3k before damage reduction per shell, but you have 16 guns. So that kind of makes up for the low damage. Definitely you can get some nasty broadsides into people. And they only reload in 20 seconds. I mean, I wish it was a little lower, but then, you know, this thing might be a little overpowered because this thing does do a good amount of damage if it lives long enough. Now the AA, as you can see, I'm shooting a couple planes down, but it's nothing great. You know, there's for the tier, the numbers look good, but for the tier, it just really doesn't do much. Now for the ship skills, you only have one. Very un-German-like to not have sonar on a battleship, but you get access to precise aim too. And honestly, the guns are pretty accurate without it. But when you add that precise aim too, that's when you start getting that pinpoint accuracy. And it might just feel like that, you know, without using precise aim, my guns feel accurate just because I'm not using auto aim as much. You can see I turn it off a lot of the times just because I don't trust auto aim. It's going to pull my shells low like it normally does. As I mentioned before, there is no manual secondaries, which is quite unfortunate. I really would have loved to have some because, you know, when I think of a German battleship, I think of a brawler. But the auto secondaries on this, I mean, they do reload pretty quickly. I think it's like 4.5 seconds. And they have about like a 6.3 kilometer range. So, not very usable. Especially here on Blitz, you know, auto secondaries really aren't the best. Just because of, you know, how they lead targets and where they hit. Now, the other armament that this ship has is torpedoes, and they're not as good as the Schlieffens. Schlieffens go longer, they hit harder. These go a little faster. I think they're like 62 knots, but only like a 6 kilometer range. You know, they're usable in certain situations when you're up close and brawling, or when you're getting rushed by a DD, but I wouldn't really rely on them too much. Now, I played a good amount of games on this boat, and it is fun. Trust me, it is a blast to play. But it can be a little rough, especially when you got DDs charging you, carriers relentlessly coming after you, you know, just standard BB operations at tier 10. But also a little rougher for me because, you know, shiny new ship, CC badge, press account, you get targeted. Now for battleships, it kind of gets rough when you got to go against one of the other Germans, except for Schlieffen, not so much. Well, you got to be careful with the damage output of the Schlieffen, but in terms of a GK or Preußen, those things are pretty damn tanky, so you're not really getting a lot of pens on them. Now on to the match. I start heading towards A, but then I see my Smolensk heading that way, so I want to keep the Slava from shooting Smolensk. That is my main goal right now. So I'm going to kind of charge this guy. And I noticed that it looks like he wants to take the fight. So I'm starting at a health disadvantage, unfortunately. And the Slava's a little bit of a beast, especially at penning. As you can see, I'm getting chunked every time he shoots. But we go ahead and close the distance. Now my secondaries are opening up. I'm getting a couple fires here and there. And you can see I I have the auto aim off, and I'm kind of aiming for right where that second turret is, just because I want to hit the deck of it. And as you can see, I'm getting the citadels. Go ahead and launch some torps. Kind of aim him a little back because he is turning. Now the other thing I did not talk about is the fact that you really got to open up that broadside to get all those guns on target. So unfortunately we end up losing the little brawl, but remember I did start at a disadvantage and we did a massive amount of damage to him in a short amount of time. But also, since my secondaries did get some fires, that is a permanent flood. So down the Slava goes. But unfortunately this match ends in a loss. What are you going to do? There's really nothing you can do about it sometimes, guys. But yeah, that is the Mecklenburg. Would I recommend her? I mean, it depends on how it comes out. I'm telling you guys, it is a fun boat. It is pretty damn fun. That's going to go ahead and do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoy the content, consider liking and subscribing to support the channel. We're almost out of 1K. I would love to get to 1K. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Until next time, everyone.